So let's talk a little bit about free will and choice. So the question really is, do I have free will slash choice? So to answer this question, you really need to be clear about what you mean by I when you say when you ask do I have free will or choice. The more fundamental question than that is who am I? So if you assume that I refers to the body and the mind as a separate and independent identity from the rest of the cosmos, then it's sufficiently clear that you have no free will and choice because the body depends on nature for its sustenance. It's bound by its basic needs, which are food, water, going to the loo, sleeping, and breathing. So all actions which are directed by or driven by the needs of the body are predetermined essentially because you can't you're forced to do those things. There's no way to not do those things. So clearly, at the level of the body, everything is predetermined at a fundamental level, at the most basic level. Also, the body is subject to death, so that's also predetermined. That's a law that has been imposed upon us. It's in the nature of things, not in our hands. So we do not have free will as far as the affairs of the body are concerned at the most fundamental level. But at a more subtle level, you can move the body around as you like and take the body where you want. So I digress. So at the level of the mind, or the words, the linguistic part of the mind basically is a construct made of building blocks called words. And these words and their meanings and their sounds and their script have been externally imposed. They're not original to you. You did not coin the meanings of the words or decide what the words look like or sound like or what they point to. So again, at a fundamental level, what you speak and think is determined by society because you cannot say any old thing. The sentences you speak are constrained by the rules of sense, meaning, and logic, and sanity. Because in order to make sense to the other, you can only say certain fixed things. Otherwise, it won't make sense to the other. So even at the level of the mind, the linguistic mind, there is no free will because the building blocks of the mind come from outside, and you had no say in the form of those building blocks. And what you construct from those building blocks is also constrained by sense and meaning. So again, you have at best very limited free will at the level of the mind. So if you take yourself to from this discussion, it follows that if you take yourself to be the body and the mind as as an entity independent of and separate from the cosmos, you have no free will. All your actions are determined by the other. But if you see that I actually does not refer to just the body and the mind, it refers to the cosmos itself. If you believe I to be just the body and the mind, that's an enormous limitation that you are imposing upon your true identity, therefore constraining your own free will. Because the more you contract into this limited body mind identity, the less free will you have. And the more you believe yourself to be just this body and this mind, the more you'll be tossed around by the forces of nature. But on the other hand, if you see that you're the cosmos, duality breaks down. So choice implies duality, A and B, and a decision to be made between A and B. But when A and B are both seen to be different forms of consciousness, which is non dual, and which is appearing as both A and as B. You see that neither A nor B exists. There is just consciousness appearing as A and B. So if you see that I refers to consciousness, or the cosmos, the same thing really. We get into linguistic contradictions, but let's not get into semantics. So if you see that you are consciousness itself, non-dual consciousness, then you don't need choice, because you see that there is nothing to choose, because there is just consciousness. So the question of do I have free will slash choice breaks down if at the level of the absolute, which is of pure consciousness. So most people are typically caught between these two levels: the level of totally being caught in the identity, separate identity of being the body and the mind, and a certain degree of release from that limitation, in which the identification has expanded to include more of the cosmos. So the degree to which you have let go of exclusive identification with the body and the mind is the degree to which you have free will slash choice. And the greater the degree to which you disassociate from a limited, bounded identity, which you call the ego, the less you need free will slash choice. And at the absolute level, which is that of pure consciousness, the entire concept of free will and choice breaks down. So, if you believe yourself to be just the body and the mind as a separate entity from the cosmos, there is no free will or choice. And at the level of the absolute, you don't need free will or choice. And there's a whole continuum and a whole spectrum of possibilities in between.